Welcome. As the world settles into its quiet rhythms, join me on a gentle journey back to the dawn of time itself. Tonight, we'll drift through the shimmering mists of ancient Greece, where the very fabric of the cosmos was woven by immense, unseen hands. Prepare to explore a world shaped by the whispers of primordial beings, the majestic sweep of divine power, and the quiet, enduring spirit of heroes. Let the timeless tales of gods and mortals, of creation and consequence, unfold softly around you, guiding your mind into a realm of wonder and peaceful contemplation. Part 1. The Cosmic Dawn and Primordial Beginnings. Imagine, if you will, a time before time itself, before the sun cast its first warming ray, before the moon whispered its gentle light across the oceans, before the very concept of up or down held any meaning. There was, quite simply, chaos. Not a chaos of frantic disorder, but rather a vast, formless expanse. An infinite void, yawning and silent, stretching beyond comprehension. A primeval darkness, pregnant with possibility, yet utterly unformed. This was the primordial state, the deep, immeasurable chasm from which all things would eventually emerge, a profound stillness waiting for the first stirrings of existence. It was a realm where boundaries dissolved, where no light pierced the endless gloom, and no sound broke the profound quiet. It was the ultimate, uncreated potential, the very breath of what would become. From this profound emptiness, from the very essence of chaos, something stirred. A slow, deliberate unfolding began. The first entities, fundamental and immense, began to separate, to define themselves from the limitless dark. Like the slow differentiation of a cosmic cloud, forming the first foundational elements of a nascent universe. And so, the first of these elemental powers to stir was Gaia, the very earth beneath our feet. Not the bustling, vibrant planet we know today, but a raw, immense being, a primal mother, solid and foundational. She lay there in the vastness, a burgeoning mass of mountains yet unformed, valleys yet undug, rivers yet to flow. She was the very ground of being, the sturdy bedrock upon which all future existence would rest. Her form was the landscape itself, a sleeping giant awaiting the touch of life. Her skin was the rough, unyielding stone, her breath the nascent breezes that began to stir the void. Almost immediately, from Gaia herself, or perhaps from the lingering essence of chaos, arose Uranos, the boundless, star-studded sky. He arched over Gaia, a celestial dome, dark blue and infinite. Imagine him stretching, encompassing the newly formed earth, his vastness a silent counterpoint to her solidity. He was the overarching expanse, the cosmic canopy, his form shimmering with the promise of unseen stars and distant nebulae. He was the first light in the heavens, a faint glow hinting at the brilliance to come. His presence was vast, encompassing, and quietly powerful, a boundless embrace over the newly formed world. And in this nascent cosmos, with Gaia below and Uranos above, there was a profound, elemental union. Their silent embrace brought forth a new generation, beings of immense power and presence, reflecting the vastness of their parents. These were the Titans. 12 of them emerged, 6 brothers and 6 sisters, each embodying a grand principle or force of the nascent world, giants in both stature and influence, born of the primal elements themselves. There was Oceanus, the encircling river that flowed around the flat earth, a gentle yet mighty current, the father of all rivers and springs, whose calm waters knew no landlocked boundaries. And his sister, Tethys, the embodiment of the fresh waters that nourished the world, the quiet source of life flowing into every stream and river. Together they represented the vast, flowing waters, the arteries of the early world, moving with an eternal, tranquil rhythm. Then came Hyperion, the radiant titan of light, whose gaze would eventually ignite the sun itself, bringing forth the warmth and brilliance that define our days, and Theia, his luminous consort, the goddess of sight and glimmering, whose very presence seemed to make gold and silver shine, and gems sparkle with an inner fire. Together, they symbolized the dawning of illumination, the slow emergence of brightness from the primordial dark. We find Coeus, the titan of intellect and the axis of the heavens, often associated with prophecies and the quiet, discerning mind. He represented the deep, thoughtful wisdom that sought to understand the patterns of the cosmos, and Phoebe, his counterpart, embodying the bright, pure light of the moon and the ancient oracle of Delphi, a source of quiet foresight and mystical knowledge. They were the intellectual and intuitive forces guiding the nascent world towards understanding. There was Mnemosyne, the very essence of memory, who would later inspire all knowledge and art, the quiet guardian of all that had transpired, a living repository of the past. Her presence ensured that lessons learned and experiences gained would not be lost to the fleeting moments of time. And Themis, the titaness of divine law and custom, bringing order to the burgeoning cosmos, the quiet voice of justice and fairness, establishing the fundamental principles of cosmic balance. They laid the invisible groundwork for all future societal structures and moral codes. And the youngest of the brothers, Iapetus, the titan of mortal lifespan, whose essence touched upon the very beginning and end of existence for humankind, a somber yet essential presence marking the boundaries of life. And Crius, the titan of constellations and the stars, whose quiet power shaped the very patterns of the night sky, weaving the celestial tapestry. But among these towering figures, two stood out, destined to shape the very course of the early world, whose actions would bring about the next great shift in the cosmic order: Cronus and Rhea. Cronus, the youngest male titan, was a being of immense power, often associated with time itself and the fertile harvest. Yet, in his vast gaze, there was a shadow of ambition, a hunger for supremacy that would set him against his own lineage. He was the embodiment of ceaseless time, consuming all that it created, leading to the inevitable cycle of growth and decay. And Rhea, his sister and consort, was the gentle mother, a nurturer, the essence of fertility and flowing grace, a quiet presence of warmth and life-giving spirit. She was destined to be the mother of the very gods who would eventually reshape the cosmos, bringing forth a new era from her quiet womb. Their union, though powerful, held within it the seeds of its own dissolution, a testament to the ceaseless, quiet turning of the cosmic wheel. Their story, however, carries the first whispers of change, of the inevitable cycles of power and succession that would define the unfolding of this mythical world. For Uranos, the Sky Father, feared the burgeoning power of his Titan children, especially the formidable Cronus. In his fear, he committed an act of quiet, chilling confinement. As each of the early Titans was born, Uranos, unwilling to relinquish his hold on primal dominion, would thrust them back into the dark, silent depths of Gaia, their mother. He kept them hidden, deep within her vast, nurturing body, preventing them from seeing the light of the upper world. This act, however, became a silent burden for Gaia, the Earth Mother. Her vast form, meant to bear life and support creation, was now heavy with the weight of her imprisoned children. Her quiet suffering grew, a deep ache within the very core of the world. She yearned for the release of her offspring, for the natural order to resume its gentle course. In her profound distress, she appealed to her children, those still free, to rise against their oppressive father. And it was Cronus, her youngest and most ambitious son, who would eventually answer her silent plea. He was given a great serrated sickle by his mother, a tool forged from the very essence of the earth. In a quiet, determined act, a moment of profound cosmic transformation, Cronus rose against Uranos. This was not a chaotic battle of thunder and lightning, but a deliberate, almost surgical severing of the primal bond between earth and sky. The act was final. Uranos, wounded and diminished, retreated to the farthest reaches of the cosmos, his connection to Gaia broken. From the mingling of his essence with Gaia's waters and earth, new entities quietly emerged, figures of vengeance and transformation. But for now, the sky was freed from his oppressive presence. The Titans, once confined, were released from their dark prison within Gaia's depths, breathing the nascent air of their world, and looking up at the vast expanse of their father's distant, wounded form. This momentous act marked the end of the primordial age, the quiet close of a chapter where raw, undifferentiated power held sway. The universe had taken its first steps towards definition, towards a more structured existence. The primal void had given way to form, the silent darkness to the glimmer of cosmic light. And the Titans, the first grand generation born of the earth and sky, now stood poised to reign, their vast shadows stretching across a world still in its infancy, ready to shape the unfolding millennia. Their era, however, would be one of subtle lessons, of the quiet inevitability of cycles, and the enduring truth that even the mightiest powers are subject to the gentle, ceaseless turning of time. Part 2. The Olympian Ascent and Establishing Order. And so, the quiet suffering of Gaia, the Earth Mother, bore fruit in the rebellion of her son Cronus. He rose against Uranos, his father, severing the primal bond between earth and sky, a monumental act that signaled a shift in the cosmic balance. This moment, a quiet yet profound wrenching of the fundamental elements, allowed the Titans for a time to reign supreme over the nascent cosmos, their vast forms casting long shadows over the emerging world. Cronus, having ascended to power, took his sister Rhea as his consort. Their union was meant to usher in an era of stability, a golden age where the earth was fertile and life seemed to flow with effortless grace. Yet the wheel of destiny, as it often does in these ancient tales, turned with a familiar, relentless rhythm. Just as Uranos had feared his own children, so too did Cronus become consumed by a chilling prophecy, a quiet whisper from Gaia and Uranos as they faded into the background. One of his own offspring, a child born of his union with Rhea, would rise to overthrow him, just as he had overthrown his father. To prevent this foreseen fate, Cronus adopted a terrifying custom, a desperate measure born of fear and the desire to hold on to his absolute power. As each of Rhea's children was born, he would, with grim determination, swallow them whole, absorbing them into his vast internal being. One by one, the quiet, tender infants vanished into the dark depths of their father's stomach. Hestia, the firstborn, destined to be the gentle goddess of the hearth. Demeter, the future bringer of the harvest's bounty. Hera, who would one day reign as queen. Hades, the somber lord of the unseen realm. And Poseidon, the future ruler of the vast, surging seas. Rhea, the gentle mother, was distraught, her heart heavy with the quiet despair of losing her beloved children to this cyclical hunger for power, a cycle she desperately wished to break. Her silent tears fell upon the fertile earth, mingling with the very essence of her pain. But with her sixth child, she sought a way to defy fate, a quiet rebellion born of maternal love. Rhea journeyed to Crete, a verdant island of deep, echoing caves and ancient whispering mysteries. There, in secret, amidst the quiet rustling of leaves and the gentle murmur of unseen streams, she gave birth to Zeus. Instead of the infant, she presented Cronus with a stone, carefully wrapped in soft, swaddling clothes, which he, in his consuming fear and the dimness of his perception, swallowed without a second thought, believing he had once again averted his destiny. And so, Zeus, the destined king, grew up hidden from his father's terrifying gaze, nurtured by the gentle nymphs of the island and the peaceful sound of the gurgling waters. in the quiet seclusion of a deep, secret cave, his strength growing with each passing season, unseen and unheard by the mighty Titan. When Zeus came of age, imbued with a quiet strength and a burgeoning cunning, he returned from his hidden upbringing, ready to challenge the oppressive reign of his father. Through a clever trick, often said to involve a potent emetic disguised as a drink, he caused Cronus to violently regurgitate his swallowed siblings. One by one they emerged, fully grown and furious, having endured a strange, timeless existence within their father's belly. Their resentment a quiet storm gathering intensity. The time had come for the next great shift, for the younger generation to assert their right to rule. This dramatic confrontation escalated into the Titanomachy, the great war between the younger Olympian gods, led by Zeus and his siblings, and the older Titans, led by Cronus. This was a conflict of immense cosmic proportions, a clash of primeval forces that shook the very foundations of the world, echoing through the vast emptiness of the cosmos. Yet, imagine it not as a chaotic melee of frenzied violence, but as a vast slow-motion ballet of power, a prolonged struggle of wills and elemental might, lasting for 10 long years. The sky thundered with the mighty bolts hurled by Zeus. The earth trembled under the immense footsteps of the combatants, and the seas roared with the fury of Poseidon. The very fabric of reality was stretched and strained, as two titanic generations vied for ultimate dominion. Eventually, with the aid of powerful ancient allies whom Zeus had released from Tartarus, the 100-handed Hecaton Kyres, whose immense strength could hurl mountains, and the one-eyed Cyclopes, master smiths who forged Zeus's thunderbolts, Hades' helmet of invisibility, and Poseidon's trident, the Olympians prevailed. The defeated Titans, those who had sided with Cronus and fought against the new order, were cast down into Tartarus, the deepest, darkest abyss beneath the underworld. This was not a realm of eternal torment in the human sense, but a place of absolute confinement, a realm of ultimate removal from the upper world, where their vast power could no longer disturb the fragile, newly forming cosmic order. There they existed in a state of quiet, profound isolation, their immense forms held fast by unyielding chains, a silent reminder of the past. With the Titans subdued and a new balance achieved, the victorious Olympians established their dominion. They chose Mount Olympus as their majestic home, its peak forever shrouded in clouds, a place of eternal serenity and light, far removed from the cares and turmoils of the mortal world. Here, amidst the ethereal mists and radiant glow, they would rule, each taking a distinct sphere of influence, bringing balance and order to the universe, their very presence shaping the natural laws and human existence below. Zeus, the mighty son of Cronus, now stood as the undisputed king of the gods, the venerable lord of the sky, thunder, and lightning. He oversaw justice and destiny, maintaining the delicate balance of cosmic laws, his will often expressed through the quiet rumble of distant thunder or the sudden flash of a distant bolt. His presence was vast, encompassing, yet often quiet, the unseen force guiding the world, ensuring order and upholding the oaths sworn by gods and mortals alike. He was the ultimate arbiter, the supreme authority, whose watchful eye encompassed all creation. His queen was Hera, the majestic goddess of marriage and childbirth, the formidable yet graceful protector of women and families. Her gaze oversaw the sanctity of the household, a powerful force for unity, loyalty, and the unbroken traditions of generations. She embodied the quiet strength of commitment and the enduring bonds of family life, ensuring harmony within the divine and mortal realms. Poseidon, with his formidable trident, claimed dominion over the vast, shimmering oceans, the myriad creatures within their depths, and the very tremors of the earth. He could summon calm, expansive seas that reflected the sky, or rage with crashing waves and formidable tempests, a profound embodiment of the ocean's gentle power and its formidable, untamed might. His moods mirrored the shifting currents and the deep, silent pressures of the watery realm he commanded. Hades, the eldest brother, drew the lot of the underworld. This was not a realm of evil or suffering in the mortal sense, but the quiet kingdom of the dead, a place of transition and finality, a realm that existed in solemn counterpoint to the vibrant life of the upper world. He ruled with a somber dignity, overseeing the countless souls who passed beyond the mortal veil and guarding the immense hidden riches buried deep beneath the earth. His presence was one of quiet authority, a silent, watchful guardian of the boundaries between life and ultimate rest. Demeter, the gentle goddess of agriculture and the bountiful harvest, held sway over the fertility of the land. She embodied the rhythms of nature, the quiet miracle of growth from seed to fruit, and the abundant promise of the earth's cyclical generosity. Her touch brought forth fields of golden grain and lush orchards, a constant reminder of the life-giving power of the soil. And Hestia, the quietest and most revered of the Olympians, presided over the sacred hearth and home. She was the serene, unwavering flame of domesticity, the very essence of warmth, comfort, and the sacred, protected space within every dwelling. Her presence brought peace and stability, making her the silent, watchful guardian of all beginnings and endings within the family unit. She embodied the still, sacred center of existence. Beyond these elder Olympians, a new generation emerged, each reflecting a vital aspect of the world, adding layers of nuance and influence to the newly established order. Athena, born from the very head of Zeus, emerged fully grown and armored, yet was the embodiment of profound wisdom, strategic warfare, and skilled craftsmanship. She represented clarity of thought, the calm precision of intellect guiding action, and the quiet pursuit of justice through reasoned deliberation. She was the patron of artisans and thinkers, her wisdom flowing like a clear, calm stream. Apollo, the radiant god of music, light, healing, and prophecy, brought harmony and illumination to the world. His golden lyre could soothe the soul with its gentle melodies. His bright light banished darkness and ignorance, and his prophecies offered quiet, often enigmatic glimpses into the slow unfolding of destiny. He was the embodiment of artistic grace and intellectual clarity, a calming, guiding presence. His twin sister, Artemis, was the wild and free goddess of the hunt, the pristine wilderness, and the moon. She moved silently through untouched forests, a protector of wild creatures and the embodiment of untamed nature. Her silver bow shot arrows with quiet precision, and her presence reflected the serene, mysterious beauty of the moonlit night, untainted and pure. Aphrodite, born from the very sea foam itself, rising from the gentle waves, was the goddess of love, beauty, pleasure, and procreation. Her gentle power moved through all living things, inspiring connection, desire, and the quiet, wondrous act of creation. She embodied the allure of existence, the subtle pull that draws beings together. Hermes, the swift messenger of the gods with winged sandals and a caduceus, traveled between realms with graceful ease and unmatched speed. He was the patron of travelers, commerce, communication, and rhetoric, a quiet conduit of movement and exchange, ensuring messages were delivered swiftly and safely across vast distances. His presence brought clarity and understanding to distant voices. Hephaestus, the skilled craftsman and smith god, forged wondrous creations in his fiery workshops deep within volcanoes. Though often depicted as lame and uncomely, he was the embodiment of patient, meticulous artistry, turning raw elements into objects of profound beauty and utility. His quiet dedication to his craft created divine artifacts that shaped the very myths themselves. And finally, there was Ares, the imposing god of war. While his domain was conflict and the fury of battle, within the grand tapestry of the Olympians, he often served as a counterpoint, a stark reminder of the disruptive force that could challenge the established order. Yet even his presence in the broader mythical sense helped define the boundaries of peace and order, a necessary balance within the cosmic scheme. He was the raw, untamed passion of conflict, often contrasted with Athena's thoughtful strategy. And so, from chaos and the Titans, the Olympian pantheon emerged, bringing a new era of cosmic order. Each deity, with their unique domain, contributed to the quiet, intricate workings of the universe, shaping the natural world and the experiences of humankind below. Their relationships, sometimes harmonious, sometimes filled with quiet tension, mirrored the complex and ever-shifting balance of the world itself. Their presence provided a framework for understanding the forces that governed ancient life, a divine order that, despite its occasional dramas, ultimately sought to maintain a profound, enduring balance. They were the gentle architects of the known world, their stories woven into the very fabric of ancient Greek life, quietly guiding its rhythms and perceptions. Part 3. Tales of Creation and Natural Phenomena. With the Olympian order established, the world began to take on more defined shapes, and the intricate relationship between gods and mortals became a central, fascinating theme. The myths provided comforting explanations for the wonders and mysteries of the world around them, often through stories of profound transformation and gentle consequence, weaving a tapestry of understanding for the ancient mind. One of the most significant and compassionate tales speaks of the very creation of humanity itself, and the selfless act of the benevolent Titan Prometheus. He observed the newly formed mortals, frail and vulnerable, wandering the world in a state of quiet bewilderment. They shivered in the cold, fumbled in the darkness, and knew little of comfort or progress. A deep sense of pity stirred within Prometheus's vast being as he witnessed their simple existence. He longed to uplift them, to offer them a spark of divine ingenuity. Defying Zeus's stern decree, which intended to keep humanity in a state of simple dependency, Prometheus undertook a daring, quiet act of compassion. He journeyed to the workshop of Hephaestus, or perhaps simply plucked it from the fiery core of the sun itself, and bestowed upon humanity the precious, life-altering gift of fire. This was more than mere flame. It was the sacred spark of civilization, the deep warmth of knowledge, the illuminating light of creativity, and the comforting glow of companionship. It allowed humans to forge tools from stubborn metal, to build sturdy homes from raw materials, and to warm themselves against the vast, indifferent wilderness. Fire brought them mastery over their environment, allowing them to cook their food, to ward off dangerous beasts, and to gather together in the quiet glow of an evening hearth, sharing stories and warmth. It was the first true step towards progress, a silent revolution in the human experience. For this audacious act of compassion, this profound kindness shown to mortals, Prometheus faced a grim, silent punishment decreed by the ever-watchful Zeus. He was chained to a distant, towering rock in the Caucasus Mountains, a place of stark, isolated beauty, where an eagle, sent by Zeus, would visit daily to consume his liver, which would quietly regenerate each night, ensuring an endless, agonizing cycle. Yet, even in his suffering, his defiance etched itself into the very fabric of human existence, forever linking humanity with the quiet courage of seeking knowledge, comfort, and the enduring spirit of altruism. His silent torment served as a stark reminder of the immense power of the gods, but also of the unyielding spirit of defiance in the face of tyranny. Following this pivotal moment, another myth speaks of Pandora, the first woman, whose story intertwines curiosity with consequence. She was fashioned with exquisite artistry by Hephaestus at Zeus's command, a creature of stunning beauty and grace. All the gods bestowed gifts upon her. Aphrodite gave her a lure, Athena taught her crafts, Hermes gave her cunning and persuasion. She was sent to the human world, a gift, yet also an instrument of divine will, carrying a mysterious jar, sometimes called a box, sealed and silent, Despite stern warnings not to open it, for it contained the secrets of the world, curiosity, that very human trait, began to quietly stir within her. Eventually, unable to resist the silent temptation, Pandora gently lifted the lid of the jar. And from its depths, like a dark mist escaping, out flew all the ills and sorrows that would afflict humanity. Disease, despair, hardship, famine, vice, and all the myriad burdens that would darken human life. A cloud of troubles drifted into the world, settling quietly upon the unsuspecting earth. Yet, as the last of these shadowy woes escaped, Pandora, startled, quickly slammed the lid shut. But at the very bottom of the jar, nestled quietly and almost forgotten, was hope. And so, even as difficulties spread across the land, the enduring presence of hope remained, a silent comfort in the face of adversity, a shimmering glimmer of light that persists even in the deepest shadows, reminding humanity that even in the darkest moments, a potential for brightness always exists. The Greek myths also offered beautiful, poetic explanations for the cycles of the natural world, allowing ancient minds to understand the ebb and flow of life, the quiet rhythms of growth and decay, and the profound connection between divine will and earthly phenomena. Perhaps the most poignant and widely beloved of these is the story of Persephone and the changing seasons. Persephone, the beautiful and radiant daughter of Demeter, the goddess of the harvest, was gathering vibrant wildflowers in a sun-drenched meadow, her laughter echoing softly among the blossoms. As she reached for a particularly exquisite narcissus, the earth beneath her feet quietly opened. From the chasm emerged Hades, the somber lord of the underworld, in his dark chariot, drawn by black horses. He was captivated by her serene beauty and gentle spirit, and in a swift, silent motion, he carried her down into his shadowy realm. Demeter, heartbroken and consumed by a quiet, profound grief, wandered the earth relentlessly, searching for her lost daughter. Her anguish was immense, a silent torment that manifested itself in the world around her. As her despair deepened, the earth mirrored her pain. Crops withered and died in the fields, trees shed their leaves prematurely, and the vibrant colors of life faded into a desolate gray. The gentle warmth of the sun seemed to lose its power, and a chilling quiet descended upon the land. This was the birth of the first winter, a stark testament to a mother's profound sorrow. Zeus, seeing the quiet suffering of the land and its human inhabitants, whose lives were threatened by famine, eventually intervened. He could not allow the world to perish. A difficult compromise was reached, a delicate balance struck between the power of love and the inevitability of the underworld. Persephone would return to her mother for 2/3 of the year, bringing joy and warmth back to the world. During this time, Demeter's happiness would cause the earth to bloom anew, ushering in the vibrant life of spring and the lush abundance of summer and autumn, a period of fertility and growth. But for the remaining third of the year, Persephone would return to Hades, her solemn consort, in the quiet realm of the dead, fulfilling her role as queen of the underworld. It is during these months that Demeter's grief would once again settle upon the earth, bringing the barren stillness and cold beauty of winter, a time of quiet dormancy and rest before the cycle begins anew. And so, the gentle cycle of the seasons, of growth and rest, life and temporary death, became eternally tied to a mother's love and loss, a beautiful repeating rhythm woven into the fabric of time. Other myths explained more subtle natural transformations, the quiet shifts in landscapes, or the origin of certain plants and phenomena. There is the poignant tale of Daphne, a beautiful and independent nymph, devoted to the wilderness and averse to love. She was pursued relentlessly by the ardent god Apollo, who was struck by her beauty. In her desperation to escape his pursuit as he reached for her, Daphne pleaded with her father, the river god Peneus, to change her form. And so, in a moment of profound transformation, her skin became rough bark, her slender arms stretched into branches, and her hair rustled into delicate leaves. She transformed into a beautiful laurel tree, rooted quietly by the riverbank, forever escaping her pursuer. Apollo, heartbroken but reverent, declared the laurel his sacred tree, its leaves forever crowning victors and poets, a silent testament to her desire for freedom and the enduring beauty of nature's quiet embrace. Then there is the haunting story of Echo and Narcissus, which speaks to the nature of voice, reflection, and unrequited longing. Echo, a vibrant nymph known for her eloquent speech, was cursed by Hera to only repeat the last word she heard, a quiet mimicry that robbed her of her own voice. She fell deeply and silently in love with the vain Narcissus, a youth of unparalleled beauty who was utterly captivated by his own reflection. Narcissus, seeing his perfect image in a still pool of water, gazed endlessly upon himself, unable to tear himself away, consumed by an unrequited love for his own form, until he slowly faded away from yearning, transforming into the silent, fragrant narcissus flower that still blooms by the water's edge. Echo, her heart shattered by her inability to express her love, slowly wasted away until only her voice remained, a whisper lingering in caves and across valleys, repeating only the quiet sounds she hears, a poignant reminder of lost connection. The myths also explained the creation of mountains, the flow of rivers, and the very composition of the stars. The Milky Way, that ethereal band of light across the night sky, was sometimes believed to be milk spilled from Hera's breast as she nursed the infant Heracles, a quiet, divine accident creating a celestial river of stars. The origin of the olive tree, so vital to Greek life, was attributed to Athena, who created it as a gift to Athens, a symbol of peace, prosperity, and enduring wisdom, its quiet strength providing sustenance and shelter. These myths, deeply interwoven with the fabric of ancient Greek life, offered more than mere entertainment. They provided comfort and understanding. They were a profound way of comprehending the vast, often mysterious forces of nature, explaining the turning of the seasons, the echoes in the hills, the beauty that arises from both joy and sorrow, and the very essence of human experience. They were gentle narratives that allowed the ancient mind to find meaning and order in the world around them, a quiet, reassuring narrative for the natural world, connecting the human and the divine in a continuous, flowing story. And within this vast tapestry of gods and mortals, there lay another realm, a place of final rest and quiet transition, the underworld. It was not a place to be feared as a fiery hell, but rather the destined destination for all souls after life, a necessary balance to the vibrant, bustling world above. Ruled by the calm, somber, and just Hades, it was a silent, eternal kingdom beneath the earth, a realm where earthly distinctions faded, and all were equal in their final state. To reach this quiet realm, souls had to first cross the sacred rivers that bounded the underworld. The river Acheron, the river of woe and sorrow, was the primary passage, its dark waters reflecting untold grief. Souls were ferried across its silent depths by the grim ancient Charon, the ferryman of the dead, who required a small coin, typically an obol, placed under the tongue of the deceased as payment for this final quiet journey. Without it, souls would wander the misty shores forever. Other rivers flowed through this silent kingdom, each with its own symbolic meaning. The Cocytus, the river of lamentation and bitter tears, its waters murmuring with unspoken sorrows. The Phlegethon, a river of quiet, smoldering fire, not of torment but of a steady, burning flow that marked the boundary of certain realms, a silent reminder of cleansing. The Styx, the most sacred and formidable of the rivers, the river of unbreakable oaths, its dark, swirling waters holding immense power, a solemn boundary between the living and the dead, its very name a testament to the binding nature of promises. And finally, the Lethe, the river of forgetfulness, whose waters brought a gentle oblivion to the weary souls who drank from them, allowing them to shed the burdens, sorrows, and memories of their earthly lives, finding a peaceful, quiet serenity before their eternal rest. Beyond these silent rivers, souls would find their designated resting places, depending on their life's deeds. The vast, neutral, asphodel meadows were where the majority of ordinary souls drifted, existing in a quiet, hazy state, neither blissful nor tormented, a peaceful limbo of quiet remembrance. For the truly virtuous, for heroes and those favored by the gods who had lived lives of honor and integrity, lay the beautiful Elysian fields, a realm of perpetual spring, soft, golden light, and gentle breezes, where peace reigned eternally amidst fragrant flowers and harmonious melodies. And for those who had committed truly grave offenses against the gods, against the fundamental order of the cosmos, there was Tartarus, the deep abyss we spoke of earlier, a place of ultimate, inescapable confinement and silent retribution for the most egregious transgressions, a dark contrast to the gentle fields. The underworld, then, was not a place to inspire terror, but a fundamental, necessary part of the cosmic order, a place of silent transition, of finality, and of reflection, where every soul found its quiet, destined resting place within the vast, eternal cycle of existence. It was a realm that brought a comforting sense of closure, assuring the ancients that death was not an end to being, but a quiet passage to another state of existence, a serene continuation within the grand, unfolding narrative of the universe. Part 4. Echoes of Heroes and the Enduring Legacy. As the myths gently unfold, weaving their intricate patterns across the vast canvas of time, we encounter not only the powerful gods and primordial forces that shaped the very cosmos, but also the compelling stories of heroes. These were mortals, often born with a touch of the divine, or blessed by the gods, imbued with extraordinary strength, courage, or profound intellect. Their journeys, though often filled with trials and formidable challenges, were rarely tales of mere conflict. Instead, they were narratives of quiet determination, of navigating intricate pathways, and of a deep, abiding purpose that resonates with the human spirit even today. Consider Heracles, often known by his Roman name, Hercules. His story is one of immense, almost unfathomable strength, yet it is also a narrative of enduring trials and profound service. He was burdened by a series of 12 arduous labors, each one a testament not merely to his brute force, but to his quiet determination, his cleverness, and his remarkable ability to overcome the seemingly impossible. Imagine him, not in a chaotic frenzy, but with a focused calm, gently diverting the course of powerful rivers to cleanse vast, neglected stables, or patiently tracking and capturing swift, elusive beasts without resorting to undue violence. Picture him silently holding up the very sky for Atlas, a profound act of quiet endurance, or descending into the shadowy realm of the underworld to bring forth Cerberus, a task requiring courage more than might. His acts, though physically demanding, were often about restoring balance, clearing chaos, and serving others, rather than wanton destruction. His journey, marked by perseverance and quiet fortitude, speaks to the enduring resilience of the human spirit in facing the seemingly insurmountable challenges of life. His tales remind us that true strength often lies not in aggression, but in an unwavering commitment to one's path. Then there is Odysseus, the clever and resourceful king of Ithaca, whose epic journey home after the Trojan War became a timeless tale. His Odyssey, a vast and winding voyage that spanned 10 long years, was not defined by grand battles or overwhelming force, but by his patient resilience against the unpredictable whims of the sea, the enchanting allure of sirens whose songs could lead ships astray, the terrifying might of Cyclopes, and the quiet yearning for home. He outwitted formidable foes not with strength, but with his keen intellect and strategic thinking. His story is a gentle meditation on perseverance, on the steadfastness of purpose even through years of silent wandering and profound separation. He navigated treacherous waters with a quiet resolve, endured loss with a resilient heart, and finally, after long, arduous years, returned to the comforting, familiar embrace of his family and his beloved homeland, his journey a testament to the magnetic pull of belonging. Perseus, the brave slayer of the fearsome Medusa, embarked on a quest filled with marvels and magic, a perilous journey that required more than just courage. His adventure was one of quiet cunning, careful planning, and divine assistance, as he sought to bring order to a world plagued by monstrous threats and to fulfill a prophecy. Imagine him quietly soaring through the air with winged sandals, or using his polished shield as a silent mirror, reflecting danger away, allowing him to approach peril without meeting its direct, petrifying gaze. His story whispers of the quiet triumph of resourcefulness over raw terror, of finding clever solutions where brute force might fail. And Theseus, the hero of Athens, who ventured into the dark, winding labyrinth to confront the monstrous Minotaur. His courage was not about overwhelming brute force, but about unraveling a complex challenge, about following a guiding thread, provided by Ariadne's quiet wisdom, to find his way through confusion and uncertainty. His act was a quiet display of intellect, bravery, and a commitment to protecting his people from a terrifying menace. He navigated the intricate twists and turns with a silent determination, emerging victorious not just through strength, but through a thoughtful strategy. These heroes and many others offered ancient Greeks not just exciting narratives filled with adventure and drama, but quiet, profound lessons. Their triumphs and trials, their moments of despair and ultimate victory, spoke directly to the human condition, illustrating timeless virtues like perseverance, cleverness, loyalty, and unwavering courage. They were reflections of the quiet strength found within ordinary mortals, elevated by extraordinary circumstances, reminding humanity of its own potential for greatness, for resilience, and for navigating the complex journey of life. They served as silent guides, whispering lessons of resilience and ingenuity across the ages. The narratives of these heroes, intertwined with the cosmic tales of the gods, formed a coherent and deeply meaningful worldview for the ancient Greeks. These myths, from the primordial void that was chaos to the intricate journeys of the most human of heroes, were far more than just imaginative stories. They were their fundamental way of understanding the world, a comprehensive system of thought and belief that shaped every aspect of their existence. They provided explanations for the most fundamental questions: the origins of the cosmos, the silent turning of the celestial bodies, the creation of humanity, the very forces of nature that governed their daily lives, why the seasons changed, why earthquakes rumbled, why the sea sometimes raged and sometimes lay calm. These were not scientific treatises, but poetic, deeply resonant narratives that brought comfort and a sense of order to an otherwise mysterious world. They offered guidance on morality and ethical behavior, illustrating the consequences of hubris, of defying the gods, or of succumbing to destructive passions. They gently illuminated the rewards of humility, piety, hospitality, and virtue, providing a moral compass for a burgeoning society. Through the triumphs and failures of their divine and heroic figures, the Greeks learned about justice, responsibility, and the delicate balance required for a harmonious existence. They were a framework for their spiritual beliefs, explaining the invisible forces that govern their lives, the various deities to whom prayers might be directed, and the proper ways to honor the divine. Temples were built, rituals performed, and lives were led in accordance with the perceived will of these powerful, yet often relatable gods. The myths brought the divine closer to human experience, making the immense powers of the universe comprehensible and navigable. Even now, thousands of years later, in our modern world, the quiet echoes of Greek mythology resonate deeply through our culture. They have quietly, yet profoundly, influenced countless works of art across millennia. From the serene sculptures of ancient Greece to the grand frescoes of the Renaissance, from the sweeping operas of the Romantic era to the quiet, contemplative poems of contemporary writers. They form the very bedrock of much of our Western literature, shaping narrative structures, character archetypes, and thematic explorations that continue to captivate and inform. Our everyday language is peppered with terms and phrases derived from these ancient tales. We speak of a Herculean effort to describe immense tasks, an Achilles' heel for a hidden weakness, or navigating a Scylla and Charybdis when faced with impossible choices. The very planets and constellations above, shining quietly in the vast expanse of the night sky, bear the names of these ancient gods, heroes, and creatures, forever mapping their stories onto the celestial sphere, connecting us silently to a distant past. The enduring quiet power of these myths lies in their timelessness, their remarkable ability to speak to universal human experiences across generations, cultures, and even across vast changes in scientific understanding. They are not merely tales of gods and monsters, but profound reflections on the fundamental duality of existence, on love and loss, on courage and fear, on the quiet miracle of creation and the inevitability of destruction, on the constant interplay between order and chaos. They offer a gentle lens through which to ponder the great, enduring mysteries of existence, providing comfort and a sense of shared human history. And so, as the ancient stars continue their silent journey across the velvet tapestry of the night sky, as the gentle moon casts its silver glow upon a sleeping world, these stories, too, drift softly through the ages. They are carried on the quiet currents of time, whispered by the wind and murmured by the gentle waves upon distant shores. They invite us to listen, to wonder, and to find a quiet solace in the enduring wisdom of worlds long past, allowing our own minds to wander, gently, into the realms of ancient dreams, carried by the calming rhythm of these timeless tales. May their quiet wisdom guide you into a peaceful rest,